What's up, guys? Episode 12 of Pastor Jason here. Today's going to be a short video. I've been incredibly busy and had very little time. So short, simple, to the point. It's going to continue off of what we talked about last week with being useful. And I came across this passage during my reading in Judges chapter 5. And it made me think of something called the Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle is named after an economist. He found that 20% of the effort produces 80% of the results. And the best example that I can think of for this is guitar playing. For playing the guitar, from what I could find, there are 2,341 playable chords on your standard guitar. That's a whole lot of chords to remember. But the reality is, if you're just learning to play the guitar, you can play hundreds, if not thousands, of songs with just a G chord, a C chord, and a D chord. Add in an E minor and an A minor, and you really open up the world to different songs. That same principle applies through all kinds of things. Athletic training, economics, just your normal workplace. Every workplace has productive people and lazy people. And the productive people get most of the work done in the place. That's just how it is. It shouldn't be that way in the church. The kingdom of God is designed for everyone to participate. Christ is the head, and everyone else forms the body. Some people are very prominent parts that seem more important, and other people may just be the little toe or the little toe's toenail. But every piece is important. The kingdom of God is not meant to be a spectator sport. It's meant to be a participation sport. So the chapter that I came across, or the passage, is Judges chapter 5. And in the context, Israel's been under attack. They're defending themselves. And there's a character named Deborah and a character named Barak. Now, Deborah was a judge of Israel, and she called out for people to come and fight. Not to foreign countries to come help. She called out to her own people. And here's where we're going to pick up. Then the survivors came down, the people against the nobles. The Lord came down for me against the mighty. From Ephraim were those whose roots were in Amalek. After you, Benjamin, with your people. From Machir rulers came down, and from Zebulun those who bear the recruiter's staff. And the princes of Issachar were with Deborah. As Issachar, so was Barak, sent into the valley under his command. Among the divisions of Reuben, there were great resolves of heart. Why did you sit among the sheepfolds, to hear the pipings for the flocks? The divisions of Reuben have great searchings of heart. In other words, the tribe of Reuben, they might have been willing to help, but they couldn't make a decision. I compare it to a business today who needs to do something, and instead of taking reasonable action, they have committees and subcommittees and meetings, and they have meetings about having meetings and committees about forming new committees, but they never get anything done. Reuben just couldn't come to a decision to send warriors. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan. He just stayed away. Not that he couldn't make a decision not to. He chose not to. He stayed beyond the Jordan. And why did Dan remain on ships? This probably means that Dan was a merchant, sailing the seas, selling goods, buying goods. He was a trader, or the tribe, they were traders. And this is saying that they didn't leave their business. Their business was more important than going and tending to the needs of their country. Asher continued at the seashore. Guess he was on vacation, didn't want to cut his trip short, just relaxing at the beach, fishing, swimming, building sandcastles. Zebulun is a people who jeopardized their lives to the point of death. Naphtali also, on the heights of the battlefield. So when Deborah called for people, some people came and gave their lives, or were willing to give their lives. But many others were unwilling to leave their creature comforts. They wouldn't leave their houses, they wouldn't leave their businesses, they wouldn't leave their vacations, just relaxing. They didn't want to give up their normal life to serve their country. And in the same way today, some people see serving their God as too much of an inconvenience. Jesus Christ was willing to die on a cross for them, but they're not willing to stop watching a football game to attend a church service or to do something out of their comfort zone. That's not meant to be condemning. This should be encouraging that we need to come together, realize what's important. Don't come to church just to be served. Come to church to serve. Find out what you can do. Be useful. Be part of that 20% that's producing 80% of the results. Shouldn't be 20% of church. Should be 100%. 100% of the church should be doing the work, not 20%. Because as I said, it's not a spectator sport. It's a participation sport. Till next time, guys, have a wonderful week.